And so again, the nice thing about all these that we've seen so far, the centering on the front and the back have been very good. And this Zard is no exception. So the big thing that I'm really going to be looking at, and you can kind of see it just from, I kind of call this like the eye level view, is that we do see a little bit of kind of black or some debris on that yellow edge. So those are going to be some of the main focuses that I'm going to be looking at as I kind of go counterclockwise here. So again, I just got a new Q-tip off to the side. So we're going to see what we need to address here. So first, right off the bat, you can kind of see that little bit of black hair stuck onto it. And again, if we didn't do anything with this card, and actually that's a dent. So you can kind of see me kind of going up and down with the light. So that is a small impact. So it's very unfortunate, but again, it is what it is. But just to validate, we're going to see, just to make sure. And it is a dent. And I'm honestly not going to test it too much, just to kind of speak out loud, because what was happening is my Q-tip was starting to get stuck in it, which leads me to believe that it's lifted in a way that if I keep messing with it, it's going to pull that yellow off, which is not good. So we're going to leave that there. So we're going to come back to that here in a second, because I kind of see too here. You can kind of see right from here, and it's almost, man, that's going to be very tough. I'll have to kind of look at that at eye level, but you can kind of see right there. It almost looks like something stuck on the top of the card. But just in case, I'm going to have to kind of do more investigation, not when I'm like in a streaming setting, to see if that's stuck on there or not, because I'm going to have to like look into it, lean in it, look at whatever. So that might be stuck on there, and we might have a chance because it's slightly lifted. But I also don't want to think that, you know, it's part of the card, and the moment I wipe that off, it's going to be a big white spot, and that's what we do not want at all. So we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on that for now. But we're going to keep on going, because we can't get fixated too much. So we can only do what we can. So the next thing that we see is that small little black dot on the top there. So let us see here. So again, actually, I checked. Sometimes I gotta listen to my own advice. So I'm trying to make sure that this card is not getting soaked in any way. So again, I'm cannot express enough how little water I'm actually putting on this Q-tip, and the water is distilled, for those of you who might be wondering, because anything else has minerals or anything like that that might get added to the card, and we don't want that. So distilled water has no minerals in it. You know, it's not meant for drinking. It's meant for, you know, medical equipment, like a CPAP machine, for example, stuff that is only water and nothing else, and that's exactly what we want. So now that I kind of got the Q-tip in a nice, like, somewhat moist, we're going to see if that's just part of the card. And so it didn't come off the first time, so I'm just going to go and kind of take a quick pass with the flat end. And it feels like it's moving around, and just like that. So that little black spot is now gone. So at first, you know, I took a very light pass. It didn't feel like there was much, so I took that drier end, just very light, delicate strokes, because I felt a little bit of texture. So I just kept doing that, and it just came right off. So that's good. So that's one less thing that that is going to be accounted for in that surface grade. So that's why we do that. So now we're going to keep on keeping on. So far, this edge is in phenomenal shape. This left edge. Now we go to the bottom left corner there. It's a little bit of something that we can probably just, I'm going to throw that away, because I briefly touched the microscope with the Q-tip, and I would rather, especially working on a Dark Charizard First Edition from Team Rocket Chat, I would rather go through 20 Q-tips if it meant that it has that same consistency every single time. It's almost like being in the, somewhat of a sterilized field, so to speak. Obviously, it's not sterile, but anything. I don't want anything else added to the card besides that distilled water and whatever's on that Q-tip. And again, since I kind of roll it around and everything like that, nothing really kind of comes off the Q-tip from my personal experience. So that's why it's easier just to get a new Q-tip. There's really no problem with it. So now where I'm looking is just this spot right here. So make sure I got a good grip on it. And there we go. Perfect. So there's a little bit of something there. I don't know if Stream was able to catch up on it. A little bit of black on that corner. But we are good. We got a little bit of something here. Boom, that's gone. So again, guys, if we look at these cards, if we leave this stuff on there, it is going to go against us, right? So now we're kind of going back to that dreaded corner that I was kind of flopping back and forth, and hopefully, I'm hoping that this angle will kind of highlight a little bit on whether or not, and this is interesting, chat. So the yellow border, it almost looks like that cardstock bled over or that was removed, because I don't feel any texturing there. That's not like hot sauce or anything like that. It's not stuck on there. So that's very interesting. Yeah, it's not textured. Just trying to, again, barely, like this thing is practically falling out of my hand, this Q-tip. All right, so now I'm kind of doing the same thing here. Again, this thing is probably fallen right out of my hand. And I'm just trying to see, and I might have to kind of take it up to you guys, actually, in terms of an eye view. We're going to see if this is anything. So let me... Well, first, I got to look at the holo. I'm getting too... Again, I'm trying not to get too fixated on that thing, because that could literally, like, make or break the card. Because I don't think... I'm leaning more towards that it's not a dent, because it's I could feel it, So let's take a look. So the holo, guys, is absolutely gorgeous. Like, legitimately pack fresh cards from what it looks like. Got a little bit of something stuck on the wing there. A little bit of hair there on the wing. A little bit of... I'm trying to get that... There we go. Just throw away the Q-tip, so I don't have that hair come back again. And really, here is the big issue that normally we'll see on the Zard, because of the holo is so predominant in this area. Just trying to pick up some of those. But yeah, the holo is in such good shape. And all those little black dots are like part of the spine of the Zard. So we're really not... There's no need to kind of address the holo even further. Just missing a swirl, right? Unless I'm missing the swirl. Hopefully not. But man, that would be nice if there was a swirl. But the text is phenomenal. There's nothing that I can see in terms of dirt or debris. In such good shape. So now is kind of that moment of truth. So now we're going to kind of take a look. So again, this is kind of eye level, right? So this is kind of what it looks like from an eye perspective. That card is in, like, just kind of looking at the holo to start. And the only thing that I see is, again, those very, very, very mild scratches on that right here, and kind of see. Let me try to look at it from this perspective. Kind of do that shine test one more time. You can't even see it on that angle. But kind of like right, if you were to kind of look at his eyes and go across to the right side, that's where I'm kind of seeing. Right there. But that's as best as I can get. It's like barely anything. But yeah, really the big one is that spot. And I can't even show it on. I can't even see it. Is that one corner. And I'm going to look at it right now. And it does... Man, I don't know, chat. That might be either under the card... I have no idea. I'm kind of just like feeling around with my finger, with obviously wearing gloves. But it's like stuck. I don't know. I'll have to kind of focus on it a little bit more. Yes. I might have to kind of look at that off stream a little bit more in depth. And like literally get really close. So I might have to kind of come back on that. I feel like I can get rid of that. But I'm not gonna... I'm gonna try to do it more in like a, you know... But I think I can. But anyway. But the front is beautiful besides that. So now we're going to take a look at the back. And actually, I'm going to just take a look. And let's see if there's any major areas of focus. So from eye level, so far there's really nothing, which is great. So let's take it under the microscope to see if there's anything else that we can see that we can touch up on. Alright, let's take a look. So starting off top right, looks good. And the centering looks really good. I forgot to mention that. So that back. All that looks good. And sometimes, just based on the card stock, right? So you can kind of see some like shimmering white here and there. That's just part of the little natural dimples across that blue card stock. So nothing to really be alerted on. So we do have a little bit of whitening here on this top left side. You can kind of see right where the tip of my Q-tip is, right there. But not bad at all. I'm going to keep going here. And that does look like a bit of whitening. Just dust that off. There we go. If I can get it. There we go. And perfect. So there's a little bit there. I have to dip that one real quick. And so now, let's see if we can get that off. I'm just rolling it around in some distilled water real quick. It's not like a big issue, but it's definitely something we can at least attempt to lift off the card. Because again, as a reminder, everything that I'm doing is within kind of the guidelines of PSA, meaning I primarily stick with techniques that remove things that were added to the card, you know, such as dirt or debris or anything kind of like stuck on like we just removed there. I do not use anything that adds to a card, such as card wax, ink, like filling in, whitening, or anything like that. I don't use any of that. Just simply for the fact that, you know, when I do have these cards at the end of the day, you know, I intend on either getting them graded or selling them when they're graded. So that's why I opt not to use those techniques. Because again, my risk appetite for those, because some people do ask, is pretty low. Meaning, you know, I don't want to get flagged by PSA for anything for, like, even though they'll just say that it's altered, I just don't want to have a habit of it. And so as I'm kind of flattening the card out a little bit here, we do see a little bit of whitening here on that corner, as well as a little bit on this edge, but that's more of like excess. So I'll kind of take a little bit closer look in eye view here in a second. So that's dusted off. And a little bit of whitening there. Just stuff stuck on there. And this actually is also something stuck on there. There we go. You kind of see very little. I kind of push down a little bit. You kind of see a little bit of whitening there on that edge. So it's really just, and I've kind of said this even during a grade review session, it's always the back that kind of hinders these really good cards. But I mean, granted, you know, I'm definitely not complaining about this Zard. This card is in absolutely phenomenal shape for the age that it is. So now I'm just kind of taking a look at the Pokemon text, seeing if there's anything there. And nothing of note, with the exception of there's a little bit of a stuck on hair there. I'm just going to get rid of the Q-tip because that hair is on there. I don't want to come back. Because again, I'd rather go through 10 Q-tips for cleaning a Zard for sure. That's kind of what I like about using those Q-tips, because it does kind of tangle, you know, some of those hairs into the Q-tip itself. Kind of pulls it along with it. So now we're going to look at the bottom. So the text itself is great. So it's really just that one bit of whitening here on that top corner there, as well as a little bit here on this left edge, this top left edge, and then on the right there's a little bit of whitening right there as well. So if we kind of take a look at the back, so this is what the back looks like as like an eye view, and I'm trying not to block the spots that I was looking at. So you see a little bit of that whitening in the top left, and even from here, even with that microscope, right, like from eye level, you can't even really see what I was talking about from this perspective. And then additionally, a little bit on that bottom left. Right, so that's really all we're seeing. Now again, I'm gonna have to take a look off stream a little bit closer, just due to the kind of the seriousness, I guess, of the card. But really the only thing that I'm seeing, and I think it's something stuck on there because it looks lifted, is there's a little bit of something there in that top corner, but I don't know if it's underneath the card or sitting on top of the card. So I got to be really careful not to peel that off. So I kind of have to do that off stream. But assuming I can get rid of that, assuming that's just stuck on there, you know, like here's just kind of the look at the foil, right? Like that is phenomenal shape. Like it is such a good card. And the centering is really good. So I'd say if we can get rid of that, you know, we're kind of in that 8 to 9 ballpark. I'd hope for a 9. But again, I'm really going to be very careful because I might either just leave that on there to not risk lifting that off and having white underneath. That would be a big no-no. So again, that's why I'm going to be electing to do that off stream, just to use more tools and just kind of lean into the card a lot closer because I have this full stream set up. I have cameras in front of me. I really need to kind of do my due diligence here. So I think if we can get rid of that, I'm probably thinking anywhere from like an 8 to a 9, probably hoping more towards a 9, because really the only thing I saw was just those very small white dots on the top left and the bottom left. Because the hollow is in phenomenal shape, and it's not bowed. It's pretty much straight on.